Pisces, big welcome to you. This is your tarot reading for the month of December. And it's coming from the mountains of Java, I'm so happy to say, because I've been messed around for so many months not knowing where I'm going to be. But I'm finally where I call home and where I'm happy. Pisces, there's been some profound readings this December, often connected to world events. I hope you find this useful. You might not find it pleasant, but I hope you find it useful. Oh dear, Pisces, there's a deception going on. Somebody's trying to get away with something. That's that middle card there, that's that Seven of Swords. Yeah, somebody's trying to take something from you. Don't know who it is and don't know what they're trying to take, and they might not get away with it, but there is deception going on, I'm sorry to say. You look at the bottom right hand corner and you have the Empress. That's you in your power. It's also you at home with nature, tone with your intuition, your subconscious. Somebody who's loves the good things in life, loves luxury, but actually is happy to share it with others. Your current energy is that the Hanged Man. You're hanging around waiting for something to happen. Maybe you're somewhat aware of this deception, but you don't quite know what it is. So you're hanging around to gather some more information before you act on it. We now have the Judgment card. Now this is judgment, not justice, so it's like the day of judgment. So this is as though, now whatever, let's link it to the deception, but it might not be that, but it's as though those who are engaged in it get their comeuppance, and those who aren't are spiritually reborn. Those who aren't are blessed in some way. But it is a real day of judgment. It's judging for you for your sins. It's not like a court case, you know. This is the Almighty judging. The energy that would impact on the outcome is it a 7 or a 6? That let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of Swords. This is about you moving on, but also about you dumping baggage. I think that dumping baggage is important. And what would change the outcome is the Fool card. So the Fool is not just moving on, but starting, if you like, a new life, a new cycle with a wide-eyed innocence. Now the outcome sees you contemplative. This is the Four of Cups. This is you going inside yourself for answers. Not a bad thing to be doing, particularly given that I've picked up on these misgivings that you've got, that other signs seem to have in December as well. Are you also being affected by world events? It feels that way. I'm going to have to unpack this because I might be wrong to interpret it as world events. It might be entirely personal to you. But if this is having some resonance, if you can like it and make a comment, that really helps me. And even more so, if you can subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you'll get future notifications, that would be wonderful. And I want to thank you in anticipation for that, Pisces. So a big thank you. You may well be asking, why from Java? What's important about tarot from Java? And the truth is, there is nothing so important about tarot from Java. Simply that here in Java, we have many different spirits who will come to help in your tarot reading. It'll probably put a different reflection on things. For example, the spirits here are less likely to be concerned about love and finances, despite people in Java being every bit as interested in these things as the rest of us. But maybe the spirits are trying to tell us something else. Now I'll be using probably 2 decks, but out of 3 decks. So the first deck is Tarot Nusantara, the second deck is the Steampunk deck, and the third deck is the Light Visions Tarot. Tarot Nusantara is actually a new one to me, which I love, whereas the Light Visions I've struggled with as a result of the rendering. Although I think I'll grow into it, I will keep using it and coming back to it. You can see on all of them I'm using quite a lot of salt, and that's to clear the energy and the spirits from them, something that I do fairly regularly with my tarot. And I also, you'll see a number of Jimat there that I use just to bring a good energy to the tarot and to my reading. Perhaps the most important mystical object we use in Java is the kris, the curly knife that you can see that I've placed across both decks. Kris are very important for bringing the spirits to work on any object here in Java. On the spirits of the mountain to assist me in shuffling the cards, in selecting the cards and interpret them correctly for Pisces for December 2022. Now the energy running through this entire reading is the Seven of Swords, and that's a card of deception. So running through everything is deception. Now, you look at the card, he's only got 5 swords in his hand, so he's not got away, well, he's not taken everything. And he's looking round, he knows he's done wrong. He might get caught. He might not get away with it. Yeah, but it's a deception that's going on. And I feel you're very much aware of this deception. I feel you're very much aware of it, but I feel you don't know what to do about it. That's my candid view. Now, given the other spreads we've had for other signs, I think it might be to do with world events. But what I mustn't do is interpret this as being definitely world events and miss what could be personal to you. So I need to keep an open mind, but it doesn't half feel like that to me at this moment in time. Now, in the recent past, we have the Empress card. Now, this is you very much in touch with your feelings, very much in touch and in control of your emotions. Also in touch with nature. I think those 2 bits are important, but let me tell you some other things about her, just in case it comes back. And that is that she loves luxury, she loves indulgence. But she's quite happy to indulge other people along with her. She's generous. She wants everybody to enjoy indulgence. She's a Mother Earth type figure. And you look at her, well, this rendering does give out that nature, that Mother Earth. I mean, you know, I'm running with this global events. Are you aware that there's something not right with nature? That nature can also feel that there's something wrong with the world. I mean, these are certainly feelings that I have. Certainly. I wonder if you can too, Pisces. Now, what is your reaction to these feelings? And that is you're hanging around. So we've got the Hanged Man in your current energy. And I think you're doing what most of us are doing. Most of us are saying there's something not quite right. We're certainly not being told the truth. There's things going on. They don't feel good, but we don't know the absolute direction. I mean, I know some people have all sorts of theories, you know, and some of it might be true, you know, I'm not going to knock them for it. But I think most of us are saying, We don't fully understand what's going on. We know the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. So we know greed's behind it, but we don't know the full details of what's going to happen. And of course it would be a conspiracy, wouldn't it, if somebody knew the full details. And I'm not too certain people do. There might be many conspiracies. But I don't think people really know, including people like myself who can look into the future. So probably the best thing to do is to hang around, wait, bide your time, look what's happening, and then decide what to do. There'll be others of you who, like me, for the last 3 years, I've not been allowed off the island of Java. It's only recently, and even then I had to pull a few strings to be able to go and see my dying mother. So some of you, it might be an enforced hanging around, but you're hanging around. And I don't think that's a bad thing to be doing right now. Now in the future we have the Judgment card, and this is the Day of Judgment. Of course, there are many people, particularly born-again Christians, who really do believe that the Day of Judgment is just around the corner. Could that be the case? I don't see it as strongly as that, but I do believe that nature, God, Allah, reacts to the unbridled greed that is causing turmoil across the world, that is causing misery, causing deaths across the world. And sure as hell there will be a reaction. Whether or not the reaction will absolutely punish the perpetrators and reward the meek, I'm not sure, because I see it as nature that does it, and it's, I wouldn't say indiscriminate, but it's hardly precision bombing, is it? You look at the card, it reminds me very much of my favourite painting by Stanley Spencer, which I think is called The Day of Judgment. And it's people climbing out of their graves in Cookham. So very much that idea of, the final, I hope to God my cards aren't predicting nuclear Armageddon. I don't think they are. I honestly don't believe they are. But it would be an interpretation. What is going to lead to the outcome is the Six of Swords, and that's you moving on, you leaving something behind, and you dumping some baggage. Now, have I got this all completely wrong? Are these things that are personal to you? If so, you need to move on from them and dump baggage. What would be personal to you that would fit with the other cards? Let me see. I don't know. It isn't talking about relationships. It is talking about deception. So moving on from the deception and dumping your hurt for the deception. That would make sense. But that would make sense also in terms of the global events. You look at the card, well, they're going across the lake, so they're moving on, they're moving to new pastures. But in the middle of that lake, they need to dump the baggage. So very much about moving on, yes. Rather strangely, because that moving on card leads to the outcome. Whereas a similar card, the Fool card, changes the outcome. And what I think it is the Fool card is even stronger, if you like, than the Six of Swords, because the Fool card is absolutely new beginnings, new life, new cycles, entering them with a wide-eyed innocence, with a freshness. You look at the card, he's got all his goods, worldly goods, packed on his back. The sun's shining down on him, so he's blessed. He's happy, he's joyous. His little dog's running after him. He's so happy and so oblivious to what's going on. He's about to step off a cliff. And all that means is that, yeah, with new beginnings come new trials and tribulations. But hopefully things will be better. If you see this in terms of world events, as it feels so much that way, then it seems to me this is saying to you, yeah, you need to move on, you need to create a new life. What you've known so far isn't going to work for you in the future. So what is the outcome? The outcome is the Four of Cups. That's you sitting under a tree contemplating the world. Well, there's no harm in that. You know, if there's been a major deception, I mean, it could be personal, but let's just say major deception by world leaders on the common man, then don't we need to reflect? Instead of simply replacing these people, don't we need to reflect on how the hell this happened and how we ensure that it doesn't happen again? In fact, it goes further than that. Can we really replace do we really want the institutions that have given rise to this? The ways of organising society even? Because I've got a feeling there is something absolutely rotten with our society. And we need profound change. And I'm not saying what it is, and I don't think any of us can, No, we need to we all need to sit under a tree and think about it. And yes, we'll miss opportunities in doing so. You look at the card. There's a cup behind his back and he doesn't see it, and it's probably better than the 3 cups he's looking at. But right now, miss those opportunities. And just try and work things out, which I don't think is a bad thing to be doing. Pisces, I'm going to seek some clarity because I know many of you will be feeling I'm going off on one. These could be personal events. They might have nothing to do with what's going on in the world. I'm just expressing my own misgivings. So I'm going to get clarity on this deception. And the first card we get is the Ten of Swords. That is a bitter betrayal. A bitter betrayal. The next card we have is the Emperor. So that's somebody in authority betraying you. It is seeming like I'm right, isn't it? And the final card is the Knight of Swords. That's you being brave, you being fearless, but maybe rushing a little. So that is in contrast to the latter cards we've discussed, which is you dumping baggage, you moving on, you trying to work things out in quiet contemplation. So I think this Knight of Swords is your initial reaction to realising you've been betrayed. So yeah, the first card of clarity is the Ten of Swords. Remember, we're clarifying the Seven of Swords, which is a deception. So this is telling me that this deception is a serious one. You're stabbed in the back. It brings an ending to something. So let's go with it being something personal to you. It's something that's so bad that you lose your job, you lose your livelihood. I'm not saying all of these things happen to you, but it's certainly some of them. You lose your job, you lose your livelihood, you lose where you live, you lose your family. It's something as dramatic as that. And you look at him, he's lying there on a rooftop, 12 swords in his bag. It's come suddenly, he's dropped his briefcase, and he's overlooking the City of London. Is that trying to tell us something? It doesn't half feel like it to me. It doesn't half feel like it to me. Well, I leave you to decide on that one. But, yeah. It looks bitter, doesn't it? And now we have the Emperor card. This is authority. rules and regulations. I mean, he is a father figure. He is a father figure. So if it's personal, I mean, it could be your boss that's deceiving you. Could be your own father that's deceiving you. Somebody important. Or it could be the authorities of some kind. That there is an unjust judgment against you. Or could it be world leaders? You look, he's powerful in that throne. He looks smug, doesn't he? He's got his hands together like a Bond villain, hasn't he? Can you think of anybody else that's doing that right now? And now we have the Knight of Swords, brave, fearless, fast, tends to rush into things. You look at the card, well, he's ready to battle. There's airships, military airships in the skies. So it is a battle. Snow on the ground. Gosh, the metaphors are just too strong, aren't they? Where would there be snow on the ground and war going on? Oh dear. Let's not go down there too far. Because I believe this is your reaction to what's happening. And your immediate reaction is one of wanting to fight, wanting to do something. Whereas the other cards are telling us, no, hold back, work things out. But it's good that you're brave, it's good that you're fearless. Some of us will just cower down if things are as bad as they look to be on this reading. We do need people who are brave, we do need people who are fearless, but maybe we don't want more people that rush into things without thinking. Pisces, the reading is about deception, major deception, a deception by which you're going to lose something very dear to you. It's going to be a major stab in the back, and it's being done by somebody in authority. And your immediate reaction is brave, is fearless, but I think is a little too quick. Now, the other cards this December have suggested that this is about world events. I mean, it could be entirely personal to you. Could be entirely personal. But the deception is by somebody in authority. That's for sure. Now, I'm not saying how high that goes up. I don't want to put words into other people's mouths. Now, you're aware of this because you're very much in touch with nature, you're in touch with your intuition, you know there's something wrong. And your strategy, if you like, has been to hang around, just gather information before you decide what to do, which I think is a very valid thing to do. It may be that you've been forced into not doing anything. Like me, you might have suffered from 3 years of very restricted movements. So maybe you don't have the option to do anything but to hang around. Or what you're being called to do is to move on and dump baggage. And I think that means forgive and forget. And after you've done that, what it will lead you to is quiet contemplation to consider what you should do. And that inevitably will mean missing some opportunities, but I don't think that's such a bad thing, because I think you do need to reflect on what you want to do. However, what would change it all is if you completely moved on and started afresh, started a new life, as it were. Started a new life with a wide-eyed innocence. Now, that will come with its problem. happens. It's not going to be easy, but I do believe it to be a better life. And I think there is some great hope here, because we do have the day of judgment. Now, some people might read into that something very apocalyptic, and I'm not going to argue with them, but that isn't how I see it. I just see it that whoever's responsible for this deception gets found out, maybe even just found out by God or by nature, but they get their comeuppance. And the common people thrive. The common people, the meek, inherit the earth, if you like. That's the feeling I get. I do hope you've enjoyed Tarot from Java as an addition to my channel, The Magic of Java. Please take a look at the other videos that I have on this channel about magic from Java, and I hope that you will become a subscriber. Now, if you want to hear your next tarot reading, hit the button, and that will inform you of when I publish new readings. I'm certainly going to do a reading for every month, but maybe I will try them a bit more frequently, say a mid-month reading, and maybe also some special readings. But above all, thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you, and enjoy Java.